Hi everybody, welcome to another Chats with Children. I hope you're safe and well. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Colin Merrifield, who is the Director of Product Management at BrightSpec. And the reason we're catching up is BrightSpec are launching a whole new portfolio of instruments at Pittcon in 2 weeks' time in Boston, which is going to be running from March the 1st to the 5th. So we are going to have a sneak preview of some of the instruments that they'll be revealing at Pittcon in a couple of weeks' time. So Colin, first of all, it's lovely to see you. Where are you calling in from today?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm just outside Boston, Massachusetts. I'm at our office in Waltham.
Fantastic. Well, it's lovely to meet you, Colin. Now, before we start talking about the instruments you're launching and learn more about them and why you're launching them, for people not familiar with BrightSpec, though, can you give us a quick overview of the business and what you actually do?
Yeah, BrightSpec has a pretty singular mission, which is to commercialize rotational spectroscopy as a technology and add it to the modern arsenal of analytical chemistry. Our business spans kind of the full development of that platform, everything from software, science, engineering, consumables, marketing, and sales.
Fantastic. And what I would also add, this is the second interview I'm doing with BrightSpec, because I recently had the pleasure of sitting down with BrightSpec's Chief Technology Officer, Justin Neal, who told me all about molecular rotational resonance. So if you'd like to learn more about that as well, click the link which is going to be above this video to learn more about MRR as well. So, Colin, first question, you've got, as I said, some products that you're launching at Pittcon, but the obvious question is, why should scientists and particularly analytical chemists, if I get my teeth in this morning, really care that you're launching these new instruments?
Yeah, I mean, I think beyond caring, I think there should be a level of excitement. A bit of the history of the technique. The last company to attempt to commercialize this technology was HP back in 1970s. And so it's been 50 years since the last spin of a commercial instrument for this. And, it's a powerful technique that helps to address some of the existing problems in analytical chemistry. And I think it's going to open a lot of people's eyes in terms of the way these problems can be addressed and open avenues for new workflows.
Right, fantastic. Well, look, as I mentioned, you are launching a suite of instruments at Pittcon. So, if you wouldn't mind giving us a quick overview of what those instruments are and how they fit into the bigger picture.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I can introduce quickly two of the basic workflows, two of the basic ways that the rotational spectroscopy and MRR are applied. Um, One is sort of a quantitative workflow. So we're asking a basic question of, can I quantify a given chemical within a sample? And this is where our isoMRR platform really fits into. So we're able to use this technology, this platform, to look at a single rotational transition. So we're able to quantify the response of a molecule at a single frequency. And then the other workflow is essentially asking the question, can we identify a new molecular structure? And in this workflow, we're looking at not a single rotational transition, we're looking at a swath of the spectra. And this is where the spectraMRR comes in. So this is our flagship platform, and this is able to help people answer the question of what do I have in my sample? Uh,
Right.
and then there's sort of a basic relationship between those two platforms in that you can use the spectromer to identify a new molecule, and then you can then transition that method to an isomer and then put it into routine use.
Right. And you've also got a nano MRR as well, haven't you?
Right. And so then we've got a third platform, the noMRR, which in some ways sort of falls in between those two. And so it has those same basic capabilities. And we use it in two different ways. We use it in sort of an educational context. So we're able to illustrate the relationship between theory and basic physiochemical properties using some of the structure ID. And then we also use it as a quantitative platform for looking at chemicals.
Right. And at Pittcon, I understand that the spectraMRR is the featured instrument. So what can people expect to see when they go to Pittcon to look at it?
Yeah, we're actually really excited to have the live working instrument in the booth. And so, people who are there are going to be able to see the workflow from start to finish. So they'll be able to see everything from modeling the molecules initially all the way through the method development, acquiring a spectra, fitting the spectra. They'll be able to see the entire workflow start to finish. So we're really excited to be able to show this broadly at Pittcon.
Brilliant. And one question I'm going to ask you, as a end user, what makes those instruments though unique and different, apart from technology, to what else is already on the marketplace? I mean, why should people switch to what they've already got to those particular instruments?
Yeah, I think there's a handful of reasons. There's a number of different workflows, chemical classes, types of molecules that are really difficult to either quantify or identify, as I mentioned, with existing techniques today. And we're able to offer a unique solution for some of these problems.
Right. Okay. Now, looking a bit more into it, I mean, what type of industries and what specific type of researchers will benefit from these instruments?
We really see an expansive application of the technology. So to give a handful of examples, one area that we're having an impact is in the consumer goods industries and potentially the food industry, where we're able to offer better methods for quantifying flavors and fragrances. This is, an area of active investigation with a number of our collaborators, early customers. So that's one example. Another is the chemical industry, where we're able to offer alternative methods for looking at harmful chemicals that are either within a process or residual within a process. And then there's a lot of interest in the pharmaceutical industry as well, around some of the structure ID capabilities, helping pharmaceutical chemists look at intermediate structures, degradation products, impurities within their process, and getting information that's lacking with existing techniques.
Right. Now, obviously, within a lab, they already use a wide range of techniques. So, how does the spectraMRR sort of integrate with existing techniques like NMR, IR, or GC, for example?
We generally see our product suite as being complementary to the predicate techniques that are available in the market now. So there's certain areas where we're able to replace workflows with something that's more efficient or offers higher quality data. And then there's certain areas where we're able to access information that isn't accessible by those techniques. But I think it's a complementary relationship. That's certainly how I would describe it.
Right. And do you have any sort of real world applications where the BrightSpec MRR instrument actually provides a unique advantage?
Yeah, maybe I could illustrate a handful to kind
Sure.
of give an idea of how the breadth of the technology and the products can be leveraged. Sort of one simple example might be the quantification of formaldehyde. So this is a chemical that can be challenging based on existing techniques due to the fact that it has a weak chromophore, and so you have to derivatize. There's a more complex sample preparation. There's a lot of harmful chemicals that are involved in this, and because our quantification depends on a completely different property of formaldehyde, we're able to do this easier, faster, with less waste and less harmful chemicals. So that's one example. Another might be looking at some of the ability to differentiate highly similar structures would be the quantification of enantiomers. So looking at chiral solutions that exist on the market, a lot of times we're able to do this without reference materials, which is a huge benefit compared to existing techniques. And then we can also do this in an easier, faster way when compared to something like chiral chromatography.
Right. Okay.
So,
That's
so
really
on
interesting.
the quantitation side, those are a couple of examples. And then for the spectraMRR and our ability to differentiate and ID structures that are extremely similar, people have typically been looking at conformationally flexible molecules that might be in several different conformations within a sample, or other complex mixtures, either that include isomers, stereoisomers, diastereomers. So samples where it's really difficult to tweeze apart the constituent components and get a clear view of what's in that sample.
Right. Okay. And obviously, because you're about to launch it officially at Pittcon, you've obviously had the instruments out with early users for them to test it. So what's the feedback been from those early users with regards to the instruments themselves?
It's been really encouraging and sort of validating for our core mission, which is to kind of democratize this technique. And I think a lot of the feedback has been around how easy and how accessible that we've made rotational spectroscopy to people who are in the applied sciences, so not experts within this field, but trying to leverage the technique to answer a fundamental question that helps them, move their work forward. So, that's been really exciting. And then we've gotten great feedback on the data quality. And then in the case of the structure ID, people have been really impressed with the confidence in which we're able to describe and identify a new structure.
Right. Now, earlier on, you touched on some of the industries or applications that you can use instruments, but if you were looking at each of those instruments, are there any specific industries or applications you think they would specifically shine most in or be most specific relevant for?
We get a bit of a breakdown. I think, we see the platforms as being generally applicable across the industries, but again, in areas or applications where you have, you're quantifying things that already exist, or you kind of know what you're looking for. This is really where the isoMRR shines. As I was talking about sort of flavors and fragrances, and some of the work within consumer goods, we see a lot of interest in that platform where pharmaceuticals, where they're looking more at impurities or they're trying to ID a new structure within their process. There's a little bit more interest in the spectraMRR. So I wouldn't draw a very clear delineation there, but that's certainly a bit of bifurcation that we see.
Right. Okay. And looking ahead, though, I mean, what do you see are the next steps with relation to the MRR technology? I mean, how do you see the product line is going to expand in the future without obviously giving away any secrets, because obviously I'm sure you don't want to do that with the new products coming out.
Yeah, I can allude to it broadly, and I'm really excited by the roadmap that we have. I think we're actually just beginning to scratch the surface in terms of the potential of this technology, but we have a lot of advancements planned that'll help us access new areas of chemical space, new sample types, and we're looking at different forms of automation. So there's going to be a lot of exciting news to share, next year and beyond. So I think this is really just the beginning. And then, sorry, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, on the software side, integrating new workflows, enhancing the spectral analysis and the ease of use of that is also a priority for us. So there'll be a lot of software development as well.
Brilliant. Now, viewers, if you would like to learn more, but more importantly, see the instrument for yourself, then make sure you register for Pittcon, which is running, as I say, in Boston, March the 1st to the 5th. The link for that will be above this video. And make sure you go and visit Colin and the rest of the team at their booth, which is stand number 549, because I have written it down so we can tell you and learn more about it there as well. But obviously, you can go to the website, contact the team directly as well, and contact Colin directly on LinkedIn to learn more, even before the show. You don't have to wait till Pittcon. You can start learning more about it right away and do that. And they will also have some posters they're presenting at the show. So, Colin, before we close up, is there anything else you'd like to add about the technology, about Pittcon itself, and what people should expect to see in a couple of weeks' time?
We're really excited to be at the show. We've got a couple of great talks. One given by our collaborators at Northeastern University. They're going to talk about a lot about what I mentioned before. So they're going to give a really nice talk about validating mass spec results in pharmaceutical analysis. And then we have one of our application scientists who's going to talk about some of the quantitative workflows. So we have some really good talks. There'll be the ability to see the instrument live at the booth, the workflow, the user interface in person. So, we're really excited to meet everyone there.
Well, I look forward to seeing you in person there myself in a couple of weeks' time and seeing the instrument in situ. So it'll be great.
Excellent. That's awesome.
All right, Carl, I look forward to it. Look, viewers, I hope you found that interesting. As I say, it's always exciting. I know it's a bit difficult because we're talking about theory, which you can't physically see them, but you can if you go to Pittcon, and you can see them if you get in touch with the team at BrightSpec directly. I'm sure they'll be able to show you a demo or a video of it as well before you get to Pittcon. So, Colin, happy build up. Good luck with the product launches. It's always exciting when you've got new instruments out there. So I hope it goes really, really well. I look forward to seeing them in person myself in a couple of weeks in time as well.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me, Rizwan.
Well, it's lovely to see you, Colin. And viewers, thank you for watching. As I say, hopefully I'll see you in Boston in a couple of weeks. But if not, until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.